My name is Yael Cohen, and I started an organization called Fuck Cancer 3 years ago this month, actually. And unlike a lot of our speakers, and unlike, I think, a lot of the audience, I am not a doctor. I have not been at all educated in what I do, but I'm a daughter. And in 2009, when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, my life was turned upside down. Prior to that, I was in finance. I thought what I did was really important and cool and interesting. And then mom got sick, and none of it mattered. So actually, all of this started with one t-shirt. After mom's first surgery, I got her a shirt made that said, "Fuck cancer," plain and simple. And I thought it would be something that she wore privately. My mom is, there's mom. My mom is a classy, beautiful, put together woman who does not say the word fuck, never mind wear it. So when mom wore her shirt out of the house, it was really, really shocking for us. But what was more shocking was people's responses. People wanted to hug her, they wanted to high five her, they wanted to tell their stories, they wanted to hear hers. And I always joke that I knew we had something really powerful when people would hug her, because I think it takes a hell of a lot for a stranger to hug another stranger in our society. And that's when we knew, we had something powerful, and it resonated with people, and I wanted to do some good. And along the way, I figured out how I was going to do that. But I'll back up first and talk about my mom a little bit. So everything we do at Fuck Cancer is based on mom's experience with cancer and our experience as a family with cancer. Because I really believe that a patient doesn't get cancer, their family does. And that's not just the family you're born with, but the family you choose, the people that you spend your life with. We go through this together. And there are parts of it that really suck. And there are parts of it that are funny or enjoyable or things that are unexpected. And we'll get to all that. But April 8th, 2009 was the date of my mom's first surgery. And I will never forget that day. It was somehow incredibly long and incredibly short simultaneously. And you remember the little pieces, the strange little things. I remember the man downstairs in the prep room, who I like to call the troll, because he wouldn't let my dad and I in at the same time. I remember on the car ride to the hospital, my mom drifting in and out of sleep. She likes to sleep when she's nervous. It's really helpful. And she woke up multiple times to tell me the exact same thing. And it was that as soon as she came out of surgery, I had to wash her face and put her cream on. Because before surgery, as most of you know, there's an antimicrobial soap you use, and it's really drying. And mom wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to be uncomfortable. That's your concern after a radical mastectomy. And you nod and you smile, and it destroyed me, because I knew that she knew that in a few hours she wouldn't be able to do this herself. And so, as I've said, everything we do is built on our experiences as a family, and none of those experiences are special. Hundreds of thousands of people are going through them every day, and I did what I knew how, and that was research and care. And it occurred to me throughout the process that I wouldn't want my mom or other moms or other patients to go through this alone. And we all need somebody there to speak on our behalf or to help us through the process. And that's a large part of what we do. Obviously, we do things fairly differently from our name, if you can't tell. I'll run through a little bit of why we do things differently because of mom, and then what we've grown into in 3 very short years. Firstly, we focus on early detection. We don't fund any research. And in the cancer space, that's pretty rare. We obviously focus on early detection because it's what saved my mom's life. I will never forget her oncologist telling us we were so lucky because we caught her cancer early. And 90% of cancers are curable if caught in stage 1. And that was one of those holy shit moments. If 90% of cancers are curable if caught in stage 1, why the hell don't we teach people how to look for them? And I mean, obviously that number is an accumulation of various stats for various cancers, but it's around 90%, and that's remarkable. So I want to teach people how to look for cancer instead of just find it. Find out about your family history, because as our grandparents die, that history dies with them, because to a lot of them, cancer was the C word, and you didn't talk about it. And until my mom got sick, I didn't know that our family's a damn landmine. We have cancer all over the place, and nobody talked about it. Find out what cancers you're at highest risks for, what the earliest warning signs are, because a lot of them are seemingly benign and highly embarrassing. Nobody really wants to talk about their gas or nipple leakage. So we had to find ways to get people to talk about it. And a big part of that was the youth. Nobody talks to my generation about cancer. And I don't mean our own cancer, I mean our parents' cancer. We're not the highest risk demographic, and we're certainly not the largest donors, so we're left out of this huge conversation. And to me, that was an enormous mistake. I really believe that my generation is revolutionary, and I know that we think every generation is revolutionary. We're all going to change the world. And past generations have. They've changed their world. But for the first time in history, we can change the world with the click of a mouse. Our generation has access to more information than any generation ever has, and we can spread a message around the world with literally a click of a mouse. We use the example in the office, and obviously it's a little bit of an inflation, but a 14-year-old girl in Alabama has the potential social media reach that Martin Luther King Jr. did. That's insane. Why are we not harnessing this? And so we wanted to get kids to teach their parents, because our generation teaches their parents more than any generation ever has. And normally it's, how to use their smartphone or what a Kardashian is, but let's teach them something that can actually save their lives. And so we decided to include the youth in this conversation and explicitly target the youth. And if you want to talk to the youth, you have to go where they are, which is online. Online is the first place a lot of us go when you get diagnosed or somebody you love gets diagnosed, but it's also the first place we go when we wake up and go to sleep and have an extra second. So let's find a way to take something we all do so inherently and naturally and compulsively and use it to achieve another goal. So if you want to talk to the youth, you have to go online and you have to speak their language, which is humor. And that's kind of a taboo thing in the cancer space, to have a really good sense of humor, but we do. We use humor, wit, and edge to let people engage with cancer on a different level. And it does a few things. Firstly, it opens the door to education and conversation. Because as I said, a lot of people won't talk about their really uncomfortable symptoms, but they'll joke about them. And so if we can get people to joke about it and be aware of it, hell, that's one step closer. But beyond that, what we've seen over the past few years is that the cancer space is pretty heavily censored and prescribed. We want cancer patients to do certain things and say certain things and have a specific experience. And quite frankly, it's bullshit. We're human. We have a whole range of human emotions, from really good to really bad. And you get sick, and all of a sudden we chop off one half, and we're like, hey, if you could be a little bit sad and quiet and just let us know, what you're going through, that would be great. And it's really confusing, because you're fighting the fight of your life, and people expect you to be sad and downtrodden, and you get to be whatever the hell you want to be. And so by laughing along with our supporters and patients, we're reinforcing the fact that whatever you're feeling is appropriate, and it's exactly what's right for you. And there are parts of cancer that are terrible, and there are parts of cancer that are funny, or they're so damn awkward that there's nothing you can do but laugh. And when you've lost your sense of humor, you've really lost it all. So we wanted to give people a safe space to come and have whatever experience was right for them. And humor was actually one of the things that we found most people flocking to. They wanted to come and be able to joke or talk about things in a lighter manner than society typically endorses. And so that was our foundation. We built this really solid foundation on early detection and getting kids to teach their parents how to look for cancer instead of just find it. And for the first 2 years, I was really specific that I didn't want to ask people for change, because I didn't think they had a reason to trust me. I couldn't come out here and at the time I was 22-year-old and tell people to do something. I had no reason for them to trust me. So we built trust for 2 years, and we gave more than we ever asked for. And as we moved into our third year, it was time to ask people. So we asked them for two things, and we layered on two really important components. And the first is prevention. We've heard a lot about it today. And it's the fact and the idea that what you put into and do with your body directly affects your overall health. What you put into and do with your body directly affects your overall health. It's that simple. You can't eat like crap and not exercise and drink and smoke and think that, you're not going to get sick, or if you do, your doctor's going to find it and fix it. We have to start taking responsibility for our own health. And that's not to say that living a preventative lifestyle means you won't get cancer. Of course, there are things we can't control, but we should be doing what we can to stack the cards in our favor. And living that healthy preventative lifestyle isn't just for cancer. It's for heart disease and diabetes and obesity. And it's something that we wanted people to start taking more responsibility for. The second component, which is actually the thing I'm the most proud of that we built at Fuck Cancer, is our community and our communication. Over the past few years, I've realized that as a society, we really suck at communicating about cancer. We know how to talk about the physiology of cancer, but we don't know how to talk about the psychology. We don't know how to talk about and authentically support each other. So, we get a lot of the like, how are you? I'm here if you need anything. I'm good. And it's like that face. I see that face every day. And we wanted to switch that to the, how are you and your partner doing? Because when a couple loses a child to cancer, the divorce rate is 80%, and nobody talks about that. Or, can I pick your kids up from school? Or let me put some meals in the fridge this week. We wanted to teach people how to have authentic, meaningful conversations and really support each other. And whether that's the patient or the caregiver, we wanted to help. So how do I tell my mom I have cancer? How do I tell my 5-year-old son he has cancer in a way that he understands and doesn't feel like he did something wrong? If I'm the patient, how do I ask for the help I need? And these were all things that we couldn't really find. Nobody teaches us how to talk about cancer and how to support each other genuinely. And so we wanted to build that safe space. And I'll wrap up with the reason and one of the, I guess, a story that sums up why I wanted to build all this. When Mom was diagnosed, I was obsessed. I read everything I could get my hands on. I went to every meeting, doctor's appointment with her. And we would sit there, and she would hold my hand, and she would squeeze. And it meant, I don't understand. And my mother is an educated, articulate, amazing woman. But she was emotionally compromised. She had just been given potentially the worst news of her life, and she was spoken to like a patient, not like a human. And it was, the necrotic nature of your cell tissue, blah, blah, bullshit. And she's just trying to understand. And so we would go for tea after every doctor's appointment, and I would have written everything down, and I would explain to Mom what had just happened. And it worried me that not everyone has a me, has a daughter or a partner or somebody. And I wanted to create a human movement for a human experience where you're not just going to find out what a biopsy is, you're going to find out what it's going to feel like and what you can do before to make it easier or afterwards to make it hurt less. So pretty simply, everything we do is based on our experiences as a family, and now our experiences from our entire patient community who tell us what they need and what they want, and we build for them. But we're building a human movement for a human experience, and it's just that simple.